what's happening, everyone? Pragmatic Addict here. I'm here, of course, joined by JTJ. So we're talking about episode 10 now of Beavis and Butt-Head Season 3. Now, I was really nervous that this was going to be, like, the final episode because everyone was saying that there was going to be, like, 10 episodes. And for a while on Rotten Tomatoes, where we can, like, look at all the different episodes coming up, it didn't have, like, episode 11 or anything shown, but we were really looking forward to these two episodes. So these two episodes are titled Bed and Breakfast and Work from Home. Now, the first one reading here says, when a woman mistakes Beavis and Butt-Head's house for her Airbnb, they think she wants to score. Now, that one we had a lot of theories of. We were having a lot of fun with this. We were like, okay, like, is it going to turn out that maybe the Airbnb she meant to book is like Todd's house or Anderson's house? And then also, with the second one here, with the middle-aged Beavis and Butt-Head working at and living at Burger World, this really got me excited. Me theorizing that everything that we've seen with middle-aged Beavis and Butt-Head has been canon. I was like, well, since they got evicted, maybe now they try to move into Burger World. We had a lot of thoughts and theories for these two episodes. We were looking forward to them, so let's get into the reviews. So the first episode is actually the middle-aged Beavis and Butt-Head one, and what I'll say about this one is that, for me, this had a bit of a rocky intro because, so first off, it actually opens with them in their apartment, thus confirming that, you know, the whole middle-aged Beavis and Butt-Head thing has not been canon. Also, just the way that the episode itself opens up, I found the intro to be just really random, like to the point where I was watching it and all that was on my mind was, you could have just had any old intro for this. Like, there was nothing significant or, like, substantial about the intro. It just is an intro that kind of like fills the time to get the main premise going.
I want to point out, speaking of canon, it is a little disappointed that nothing is canon. That would have been a fun...
It really felt like it was the first few episodes there.
It could have been canon, you know?
And then also, like, after they got evicted, that's when it started doing, like, the bi-weekly thing. So I was like, okay, like, we already had to wait that long to, like, really know for sure. And, like, the title of this, it makes it sound like, okay, so they got evicted, now they're staying at Burger World. That would have been perfect, but nah. It's just its own episode. But going on with the episode, what I want to say is that once we get to the point where, like, the main premise does come in, and just leading up to it, it was really funny to see older Beavis and Butt-Head coming back to Burger World. Also actually having a new boss once again. And with this new boss that we don't know, and don't know what to expect from them, and the whole reason why Beavis and Butt-Head are actually at Burger World again after all this time, it was just that case that I like to have with Beavis and Butt-Head episodes where I don't know at all what to expect, where it feels like really anything could happen. But I have equally as much fun wondering where everything's gonna go as I do just actually seeing everything happen on screen every second that goes by. But during the cutaway in this episode, I did kind of sit and think for a minute, like, especially with this season, whenever there's been episodes like this where just the premise just sounds like a slam dunk, I did sit there and think, like, I hope that isn't the case, you know, where it starts out pretty good and then they just don't do a whole lot with it. But I gotta say, once we get through the cutaway and we get back to the episode, the first thing we see, like, right away, them actually getting to Burger World, it's just chaos with all the customers, and it felt like classic Beavis and Butt-Head in that way, where every time they go to Burger World, it's always the customers that get the shitty end of the stick. I mean, of course. But, like, what I'll say is that it doesn't, like, overdo it or anything. It doesn't go over the top with that. It's just the awkwardness of watching only this and not knowing what's gonna happen next, what's gonna happen with Beavis and Butt-Head, or how this new boss that we don't know is gonna react. Now, I'm not gonna spoil what actually happens with the character of the new boss in this episode, but I will say, it was unexpected just the type of character he ends up being throughout the episode, but it added for such good writing, such good comedy, further anticipation for what may come, and I gotta say, that does result just throughout the episode in a very darkly humorous way. And again, like, going back to what I was saying about the new manager, once you find out, like, the kind of character he is, just kind of as, like, a human being, as kind of as, like, a person, it did make me have further questions of, like, okay, as everything just really is spiraling and escalating, I want to know if eventually, like, how he will react. Which I will say, it is kind of a cliffhanger. It doesn't give you all the answers, but I kind of like that because at the end of the episode, I just started using my imagination. But also I started thinking, well, I wonder if they're going to bring him back in like another episode. Like we still got at least 2 more episodes over the next few weeks. I wonder if we're going to see him come back. I wonder if we're going to see him in a further season if we continue to get more Beavis and Butt-Head. So overall, I did have a lot of fun with this episode. But I am going to say really quickly, after the episode, we do get another short. And like I said in the previous episode, this is another new short, but this is actually one about Beavis and Butt-Head. Well, kinda. It has Beavis and Butt-Head in it, but it's actually them reading like their own version of a Dr. Seuss book. And this was actually what the episode's main cutaway centered on, which I thought was funny. But just seeing this as like an actual short, it kind of like repeated exactly what it did in the cutaway, just not as funny, just actually showing a book and just Beavis and Butt-Head reading it. So it didn't really do anything for me. It just kind of felt awkward, a little bit random, kind of repetitive. But I mean, it was different. I'll give it that.
Overall, I liked the setup for the episode, and I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of funny. The punchline at the end, there was no predictability. That's what I really liked about it.
It was a very unpredictable episode. It was one of those episodes that, like, hearing about it, like, reading the premise, it's one of those episodes that, like, you want it to be a slam dunk. It should be a slam dunk, and it kind of is. I mean, I didn't really have any complaints, and, like, the whole time it went on, like, yeah, well, it was, like, a little bit slower, and I had, like, a rocky intro and everything. Just where it kept going from there on out, it just really delivered.
It did. And I think I would rate this episode a 9.1.
So this is the Airbnb episode, and I'm just gonna say, the way that this episode opens, Beavis and Butt-Head's chemistry, just that classic nostalgic charm, the behavior, it just felt like classic Beavis and Butt-Head. And how they, like, are talking with this girl and, like, make her, you know, think, okay, yeah, this is, like, the Airbnb. I was locked in. It just felt like a classic Beavis and Butt-Head episode with just a modern spin. Which, again, if you're gonna modernize Beavis and Butt-Head, the idea of, like, a hot girl coming to their pad thinking it's an Airbnb and, like, just filling in the rest of the episode, like, them trying to score with her or, like, her bossing them around like their actual host, or maybe it's, like, the thing where it turns out that the Airbnb is actually at Anderson's or Todd's house. Like, there is so much room to make this just, again, another slam dunk. And I will say, like, it was just so fun to see an actual girl in Beavis and Butt-Head's house reacting how a girl would. But also, actually seeing Beavis and Butt-Head essentially be hosts. Like, this girl, when she gets into Beavis and Butt-Head's house, obviously she's like, you know, ew. Can I at least get some clean sheets? Then I'm, like, actually going to a laundromat. And not only the first time we're actually seeing Beavis and Butt-Head do laundry, which was funny as a little segment, but also apparently them actually doing laundry for the first time with just how this is written, how it all goes. It was one of those episodes that really hits you like, yeah, there's like the running joke of like 35 years now of they will never score. I mean, this is one of those episodes that really paints that picture. But what never left my mind though, the whole episode, was how is this girl still staying here? I mean, she's complaining a lot. She even mentions in the episode, you know, I'll just go stay at, like, a hotel tomorrow. But still, I'm like, you're a girl, and this is Beavis and Butt-Head's pad. What? Sleep in your car, man. I don't know what to say. I mean, even if you're gonna lose your money, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Which I will just say, like, speaking those words, a girl stays the night at Beavis and Butt-Head's house. It took 35 years of the show to finally make that happen. It finally happened. But I gotta say, overall, reaching the end of the episode, just all that it really could have done throughout, just as an idea. This is that unfortunate thing for me where, again, this just sounds like such a slam dunk. And overall, it just somehow doesn't entirely do it for me. And overall, I'm sadly gonna have to give this one a mixed review.
I don't mean to spoil nothing, but the ending I kind of saw coming a mile away.
Like, thinking about it on paper, it doesn't sound like a weak ending, but just to, like, the theories that we had, those were so much better. It just seems like with this season, there's a lot of episodes, I can't recall which ones, but there's been a lot of episodes where I'm like, that just sounds like heaven for a Beavis and Butt-Head plot. But just, like, the way it's written, it's like, it feels like they just didn't put all that they could have into it. It feels a little bit weaker this season. Feels a little bit tired this season. Feels like wasted potential.
I feel like they just slapped this one together.
I mean, it's a great idea, but I'm just like, how is this only a mixed review?
You might have gave it a more generous review. I'm rating it a 1.9.
You know, I kind of want to look back and see all the scores that you've given. We didn't start doing that till like halfway through the season, but I'm curious like what you would rank all the episodes. But yes, guys, that is gonna do it for our review of episode 10 of Beavis and Butt-Head. Not the strongest. The first one was really solid. Second one, no, not the strongest, but we still got two more episodes, I believe. We definitely have episode 11 coming, and again, the past 2 seasons have had 12, so I don't see why they would just short this like 1 episode. So I'm guessing with the bi-weekly thing, this should be wrapping up sometime in December. But let us know what your guys' thoughts are on episode 10. And with all that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight, and we'll see you guys in the next video very soon. Take care and have a great night.